big welcome to Fiona. Thanks very much.
Well, I'm super duper excited to be here with you today. Are you super duper excited? Yeah. Cool. So we're a small group, which is Fabby Dabbies, because it means I can do lots of personal stuff with you. And Lord knows where we'll be by the end of the day. Perhaps you'll have a pitch ready to take to somewhere specific. I'm not doing a great big general talk, so we can get on with some really good stuff. So I think I'm going to set an intention for the day, and I'm going to invite you to do that too. So my intention for the day, for you, is that I peel back the curtains for you on a world that may be a little bit mysterious for you, or a world that you're not currently part of. So I can perhaps demystify that for you a little bit. Does that sound like a reasonable deal? Okay, so I'd love to invite you to set an intention as well for yourself. Maybe just note it down, what you'd like to get out of today. Because I think when you set an intention, it's a bit like a heat-seeking missile. You tend to hear certain things that feed into that, and you're much more likely to get the thing that you want and you need. So maybe just take a moment and set your intention for the day. What you'd like to get from me, what you'd like to get out of the day. So I'm here to show you how to become the star in your field, how to become the authority in your area, and how to take that into the media so that you get in front of thousands and millions of your ideal clients ASAP. Does that sound like a reasonable deal? A good idea even?
Yes.
Cool, okay. So what's your intention for the day, Tia? How can I help you?
Well, I'm thinking how to position my business
Okay.
a little bit more, how to reach out to my clients.
Yeah. Okay, so positioning is what I'm hearing. Excellent, okay. And Steve?
Yeah, Peter.
Even Peter.
Yeah.
Peter, Steve, Peter. Steve.
Yeah,
Peter.
yeah.
Just checking.
Not sure yet. I'll probably tell you in another half an hour.
Okay, just let that work through you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Let's see what.
What is your business?
I play music at the moment.
Okay.
But I'm looking to start a media company which has a number of facets. So there'll be video production, documentary type stuff, live performance, stage management, and concert. So there's quite a lot of things. At the moment, I just do live performance at the moment.
Okay.
In a small scale.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would like to get into producing documentaries and historical type around music, So that's something that maybe it'll link in.
Okay, cool.
So I can tell you in about half an hour whether it's the right sort of thing.
Cool. And Tia, what's your business?
I have a family law firm, and
Okay.
I'm also having a coaching business.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay. And Cindy, what's your intention for the day? How can I help you?
I want to fine-tune what my unique selling point is,
Yeah.
so that I can really stand out. It's a crowded field because my business it's twofold. I've just launched a coaching business using a variety of different tools, including NLP.
Right.
And I also do services for small hedge funds, so it's kind of a duo.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm focusing more on the coaching. The hedge funds is just bringing the money in.
Yeah.
Coaching is what I really want to
Got
get
it.
into.
Okay. Cool.
Does that
That's
jive with
absolutely
what you're going to be talking about?
Oh yes, I'm sure we can make that work.
Okay.
Yes. Fantastic. And you are
Julia.
Julia.
I don't even have, sorry.
Don't worry. I can remember that.
I want to figure out how to be the one known as the expert in my field, specifically for, let's say, the single market.
Okay. Okay. And what would you help singles do?
So I'm a love coach.
Oh, I
So
see.
I help people to I empower them to bring to attract love and passion into their lives.
Lovely.
So I'd like to be known among the experts, but I'm kind of trying to wheel myself more into the self-love,
Yeah.
like the self-esteem building, that type of
Lovely.
area, rather than the,
Okay.
cheap coach.
We're definitely going to
So
talk
it's
about
more-
that. Yeah. Terrific. Good. Great. Thank you. And Casey, what about you?
Yeah,
I run I've got a coaching business.
Yeah.
And also another business that is about resolving kids' behaviour problems.
Right.
Of which I've got a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
So maybe something along the lines of, establishing as an authority in that area.
Got it. Excellent. And your intention for the day?
To do that, to understand, how that
Yeah.
works.
Excellent. Good. Great. We're going to get all that sorted today. No problem at all. So let me tell you a bit about, I think what I'm really hearing from you, and then I'll tell you a little bit about me, but I think what I'm really hearing is that you're all super passionate about what you're doing and you want to reach more people. Would that be accurate?
That's pretty good.
You want to reach more people, and do you want to make more money from reaching more people?
Definitely. Good.
Just check it in, there. Good, okay. So at the moment, you're in this place where you love what you do. I get that from you. You probably know that you're good at what you do, but you're not reaching the people that you want to reach. Where you want to be is over here, where actually you're known. People know of you and people come to you because they want the thing that you do. And possibly even you are known through being featured in the media. Does that sound good to you? Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about that today. And I'm not going to talk about some tricky new Facebook thing or something on LinkedIn that's just been invented. I'm going to go bigger and broader than that. I'm going to go you. It's about you. It's about how you position yourself and how you are seen in the world. When you're clear on that, when you are seen as an authority on your field, in your field, life is much easier. People come to you. You don't have to push and sell and persuade quite so much. So why is that important to you? I think you've already identified it. You are in a very competitive field. However unique you think the thing is that you do and how you do it, the fact is you're not the only one. There's a lot of people doing the thing that you do. So your biggest challenge is to stand out and for people to see you in a particular way. Why now? Well, there's never been a time when there's been more entrepreneurs and people setting up in business because it's never been easier. So there's an entrepreneur coming out of the woodwork every 2 minutes. So our world is saturated with people setting themselves up in business, being in business. It's never been easier. So therefore, it's never been harder for you to stand out because it's saturated. But the good news is that when you learn to do that, you will stand head and shoulders above the people that you are essentially competing with. So I'm going to invite you to come back with me to 15th of April 2011. And if you'd been with me, I was sitting on my lovely purple velvet sofa, my Liberty sofa, in Fulham, just down the road from here. And I was living my dream. I had been featured widely in the media. I'd had 5 books out, won a big bestseller, Be Your Own Life Coach. And clients had been coming to me, and I was just living the dream of living in this fabulous flat that I owned. First time I'd ever lived somewhere that I had owned and wasn't rented. But what I didn't know was that dream was about to be, shall we say, shattered very soon. I took a phone call with the Royal Bank of Scotland. And essentially, 6 weeks later, I had to move from that flat. What I'd done was for 3 years, I'd walked away from my business. I'd thought I'd had enough of what I was doing. And I wanted to become a crime writer, a novelist. So I'd been living in an ivory tower for 3 years. And when I woke up to a different world. The world that I woke up to had changed. And it had changed in the 3rd week of November 2008. Now I remember it changing because just at that moment, I was deciding to vacate the business and go off and be a full-time crime writer. But what I noticed before I went was that nobody was calling and nobody was emailing. And up until that point, because I had been so well known and so established, all I had to do was sit in my lovely velvet sofa and handle the calls and handle the emails. I had a team of coaches that I sent the inquiries out to, and that was the extent of the work and the marketing I had to do. Literally in one day, that all stopped. I called my website lady and I said, Chandra, check the website. Is it up? Is it running? Is it down? I mean, I'm looking at it. She said, well, I'm looking at it too. It's fine. Okay. I'm not getting any emails. Check the emails. There's something going on here. The world literally changed overnight. 2 words, credit crunch. Anybody remember that? Mm-hmm. Woo! People got scared, very scared. People lost their money. People lost money they had. People lost money they thought they had. Some people lost their homes and some people lost their lives. So what happened was the world got scared. People got scared to spend money. When I came back to my business in 2011, I came back to a different world. And I learned that because I announced to my list, so I had a very big list of followers, but I hadn't been in contact with them very recently. But I came back and I said, hey guys, I'm back. And what happened was absolutely nothing. And a friend came around and said, Fiona, you know things that all those coaches out there will pay you for. Because they all want to know how you did what you did, how you came from nowhere to everywhere, how you got all those book deals and you got in the newspapers. And I was like, really? Yes. They all want to know how you did what you did. Have you ever had a time when somebody had to point things out to you that were so blatantly obvious, but you couldn't see them yourself? So I put together a program, a 6-month program, and this was to do with everything that I had learned, everything that I knew, everything that had worked for me, and I was very specific about it working. And I put it out there, and guess what happened? Not a lot. I had to work harder than I'd ever worked to connect with people. I had to call people. I had to explain the specific and the tangible benefits that they would get from that investment. So in the first week, I sold 2 programs. Second week, I sold 6 programs. And by the end of 6 weeks, I'd sold 22 programs at £6,000. And now I get to do all of that with people like you, pretty much all over the world, and I help my clients get into the media, my private clients, get into places like the Telegraph and the Daily Mail, places that are right for them. So one of my clients, Ziggy, was featured in the Mail just recently. You might have seen her. She does something called the Zone Facelift. So that's really changed her life. So overnight, she's exposed to 6.6 million people. And on that same day of her feature coming out, she has 3,000 new inquiries. So that's why I'm very clear and very passionate about what I teach. So what I have learned over the years is that 2 things are really critical. One is, because the world has changed, that people, hi there. No problem at all. No problem. People are no longer buying stuff that they can't quantify. Stuff that is general or vague or, God forbid, woolly. Now, I know that because I used to sell that stuff. Prior to the 3rd week of November 2008, I was the queen bee of British life coaching. So I sold general life coaching. I sold self-esteem, I sold self-worth, and I sold self-confidence. And people loved it and paid very good money for it. And I made a terrific living. And they don't buy it anymore. And I learned that very fast. Didn't take me long to figure that out. Here's what people are buying. People are spending money, but they're much more discerning. Here's why they'll spend money and when they'll spend money. When they can see the return on the investment. When they can see the specific and tangible results that spending that money will give them. When they feel confident that you are the person that they should be investing their money with. Is this making sense, guys? Yes or no? So you could say life is harder, but I would say if you get this stuff figured, life's a lot easier, because a lot of people don't seem to have this figured. I do come out and I say, guys, life coaching is over. If you go out there and you try and sell life coaching, you've got a very hard life. A lot of people don't want to hear that. And they just keep going with life coaching, and that's absolutely fine. But I am telling you, if life coaching was going to make me a six-figure sum, I would still be selling it. It's not. It doesn't. Because it's general, vague, and woolly. So, here's what people will pay you for. They'll pay you for your expertise. They'll pay you for your experience. They'll pay you for your confidence and your certainty and your conviction that you can help them with specific problems. Please do write down the word problem, because we're going to talk about it a lot today. So that's what I learned. And here's the interesting thing about solving a problem. If you have any desire, and I think you really should have, to get into the media, then you need to be solving a problem that the readers have, okay? And the biggest mistake that you could make, and people make this mistake all the time, biggest mistake you could possibly make is assuming that the media, that you are interesting enough in and of yourself for the media to be interested in you. That's just not true. Now, there's two exceptions to that, which I'll tell you in a moment. The other mistake you could make is thinking that the thing you do, a little bit like what Bernardo was saying, that the thing you do, surely to God, is fascinating and every newspaper in the country should want to be there. That would be a big mistake to make. So there's two exceptions to what I've just said. One is if you're Brad Pitt's relationship coach, you are interesting enough in and of yourself. And the thing you do will be interesting enough, believe me. But that's pretty much the only exception. The only other exception is if the thing that you're doing is really new. Now, I'm going to tell you, you should probably assume that that's not the case with what you do, because it's so rare. And it's a very, very small window. So when I started doing coaching, there was a small window when it was very new. And the press were interested in it at that time because it was very new. Now, I'm pretty good at communication. I know how to give people what they need and what they want. So I became useful. Write down the word useful. Useful, because it's very relevant to what we're going to talk about today, to the press. So I knew how to make myself useful to the media. I knew how to give them what they needed and what they wanted, like immediately, and I was always available. So journalists are busy people. You could say they're lazy people. I know that they're busy people. So that means that if you're useful to them, they're going to come to you every single time. That's why you often see the same names everywhere, always. And it's because those people know how to be useful. So a journalist isn't going to make their life difficult by trying to figure out who else to go to. So the reason that I know the power of the media is that when I started out in business in, we're going back now, 1888, 1988, 89, it was before social media. There was no free Facebook or Periscope or LinkedIn or any of that malarkey. If you wanted to get in front of people, you had to pay a lot of money to take out ads in magazines or newspapers. Or you had to figure out how to get the press interested in you, so they wrote about you. Now, I didn't have a budget for ongoing ads, so I figured I'd go the other way. So at the time, I was doing something called self-esteem consulting, because it was before coaching was really invented. It hadn't quite made its way over here from the States. So I was doing that, and I was doing massage as well. I was this holistic practitioner. So I figured out the people that I wanted to reach, and then I looked at what they read. What were the magazines they read? What were the newspapers they read? And I wrote a letter to editors and features editors and health editors of those publications. I think I sent off about 20 or 30. I made sure it was on nice Conqueror paper, and I just very conversationally outlined what I did and how I thought that could be relevant and interesting for their readers, and that if they'd like to try it, I would be more than delighted to do that. And I think 2 people got back to me out of that, and 1 actually came. And she seemed very happy with the treatment and everything. And maybe 6 weeks later, at about 7:10 in the morning, the phone rang. You know when the phone rings at 7:10 in the morning, it's usually not a good sign. So I raced downstairs. This is in the days when telephones were still connected to walls.
Yeah.
And it was a lady saying, "Is that Fiona Harrold?" "It is. I'd like to make an appointment with you as soon as possible, please." "Okay. And how did you get my number?" "Well, I'm in Covent Garden Tube Station at the moment. I'm just on my way to work, and I'm reading this magazine all about you. I think you're going to be really busy, so I thought I'd better call you early." And I put the phone down, and guess what happened? It rang again. And that went on all day. And at 4:30 in the afternoon, I was still in my gym jams. I had to literally call out the window to a passing friend to come in to take the phone calls. But at the end of the day, my life was completely changed. Completely changed. You know that thing about there's no such thing as overnight success? Not strictly true. Day before, I had 5 clients a week maybe, barely paying bills. Next day, I was booked up solid for 3 months, 6 days a week. Now that's ridiculous, but it was a nice problem to have at the time. 6 days a week for 3 months with a waiting list. So my income went up literally overnight by about 500%. Here is the other advantage about being featured in the media. Not just does it quickly put you in front of thousands and millions of your ideal clients and customers, it also has the power to position you instantly as a certain type of celebrity. As a certain type of celebrity. Probably the celebrity in your field is the truth of the matter. Is the truth of the matter. Now, I know that you people are about deep and meaningful things, and you have a message and you want to do things in the world. So you're not interested in just being famous for the sake of being famous. But the truth is, when the media call you the queen bee of British life coaching, people believe it because it's in the press. When the Telegraph calls you the country's leading coach, it confers an authority on you, a status on you that nothing else does. Nothing else. Not social media, not Facebook, not LinkedIn, nothing. Still, in this day and age, there is immense power from that kudos, from that authority. So, the other reason I love the discipline and the challenge of getting into the media is because it focuses your mind. Because you have to be immensely relevant for the media to be interested in you. And when I say relevant, what I mean by that, I mean you have to be solving their readers' problems in a fresh way. Your biggest challenge is not to be boring. My biggest worry all through my life has been not to be boring. Seriously. It is the biggest advantage I may have over all of you, is that I have a lifelong fear of being boring. It's absolutely true. Which means I work very hard, probably harder than many people, to take your attention and then justify keeping your attention. So I work really hard on things like subject lines, because if media aren't opening your email, doesn't matter how great your pitch is, they're never going to see it. And then I work super hard at putting the idea into a really powerful short paragraph. Remember, I'm paranoid about taking up people's time. I have to justify it. So there's certain things that work and certain things that don't work. But like I'm saying, the beautiful thing about taking on that challenge of getting into the media is you have to have certain things in place. You have to be solving a problem in a fresh way. You have to be positioned as that authority in your field. Because if a journalist is interested in you, what's the first thing they're going to do? Let's say you get a great subject line. Let's say your pitch is fantastic. The next thing they do is they click on Google, put your name in, or they'll click on your website link that you've given them. Then what they're looking for is to make sure that you are a sane person and not a crazy person. And that you have credibility and that you look like someone they can feel confident with. Now, isn't that exactly the same as your clients? As people who discover you or come on your website? They want to make sure you're not a crazy person, that you look credible, that they have a certain confidence in you, and most importantly, in less than 7 seconds, they need to see that you are solving a problem that they have. Journalists are exactly the same. Journalists have very short attention span, probably the shortest in the world, truthfully. They start their day deleting emails from people like us who are sending them, who are pitching to them, people like us, and professional PRs. My best friend Karen is the features editor on Prima magazine. Now that's not even the biggest selling women's magazine in the country, not by far. Every morning she will have a cup of coffee and start deleting 250 pitches a day, every day. Someone like Sarah Vine on the Daily Mail will do exactly the same, but she's with 850 emails every day. So the same things that will make you irresistible to your potential clients and customers, to the public, are exactly the same things that will make you irresistible to the media. So I thought I would share some of that with you today. Does that sound good, yes or no?
Yes.
Excellent. So let's look at what I did that made people literally rush to buy from me 1 week, when the previous week they weren't remotely interested. Let's see. So there's a series of 5 things that you need to be able to position yourself as the authority in your field and be of interest to the media. I'm going to deal with the positioning yourself as the authority in your field first, then we'll look specifically at the media.
Fiona, can you have these slides after?
Oh, well, that's going to cost you a lot of money. I'm sure we can figure something out. So positioning, you have got to be able to position yourself quickly and clearly to the people that you want to reach as that natural go-to person in your field. On your website, you have 7 seconds. I read somewhere the other day, it's now 6 seconds. So that's only going to get worse. You have to be able to show people very quickly. In my opinion, you need a 7-second sentence on all your marketing material that tells people really quickly exactly the problem that you solve. And if you have grabbed their attention in that moment, then they're going to read a little bit further. Same with a journalist, exactly the same. you need a perspective. I call this a point of view. So remember what I was saying, your biggest challenge is to stand out. Your marketplace is absolutely saturated. Your biggest challenge is to stand out in that busy place. Now, you can't keep banging on about your business and how great it is and how much better it is than anybody else's and how great you are, because people will just turn off. What you do need to do is take a stand for what you believe in your subject area. An old mentor of mine, Larry Wingett, from America, says that most people will never achieve the success they want because they're not actually willing to say anything that could risk offending people. That's a writer downer. And it's absolutely true. So you have to take a stand and have a point of view around the area that you're in. And that's what will build raving fans. And that's what you want. You want people who love you, who find you fascinating, who adore you, and will tell everybody about you, and will buy your books to give their friends, to give to their friends. Isn't that what you want? Yes, it is. Because you want to have an impact in the world. Yes or no? And the way you have an impact is not to be banging on about your business and how much better it is than anybody else's. It's to go higher than that, deeper than that, and talk about what you really, truly, deeply believe in and what you know to be true. So what I know to be true is you cannot be a secret and a success. That if you have something great to bring to the world, you've got to get out of your own way and bring it into the world. And on Facebook, the posts that get the biggest engagement and the go viral on my pages are ones that are not me talking about, hey, my new masterclass in London next Friday, you really must come. It's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with me selling my services, but it's to do with something that I believe and I take a stand on. I put something on there about the London attack and about, something like that happens. Every single one of us has a choice to make in that moment. We either go down the road of hate or we go up a road of bringing more love into the world. It's a very straight choice. It's nothing to do with, hey, my masterclass in London's on Friday, don't forget that. And that people went crazy. So you could say, well, how's that related to your business? Well, it's related to my area. We're here to make a difference in the world. We're here to make an impact in the world. And I'm teaching you how to do it. I'm not someone who is helping people become celebrities for the sake of it. I'm not interested in helping people become famous for the sake of it. That's not what I do. So it's all about getting your message out there, making your difference in the world, and making a great living at the same time. Absolutely. So, problem. Now, if you take away nothing from today, Juliet, when you've got a moment, my gorgeous, write down the word problem. If you're not solving a pressing problem, you're not going to make any money. You're not going to make any money. You might make a little, but you're also not going to be very relevant to people. They're going to walk on by. So you have got to be really, really clear on the problem that you're solving. You've got to be clear on the cost of people having that problem. And you've got to be very convincing about how you can help. There's 5 things in our society that people are willing, that we know, that people are willing to pay money for. So what you want to be doing is making sure that you connect to one of those categories. First one is, surprise, surprise, money. If you can help people make more money or save money, they're listening to you. And remember, the bigger the problem, the more people will pay you for it, and the quicker people will pay you for it. You solve a little problem, well, people will pay you a little bit of money. It's not much of a problem for them. So money. And by the way, don't get worried when I say this, because the thing is, you can connect the thing that you do to these areas. So for example, if you're helping people get a relationship and find love in their life, okay, you can, in your copy and your marketing, you can subtly connect that to success at work.
Yeah, I do that.
Good, getting promotion at work. Because if you're stressed,
You can't work if you're not happy.
you are looking all stressed, and when promotion comes around, you're not going to be on that list. All of that. So I'm just saying these are trigger points that people are prepared to pay money for, problems that they're prepared to pay to get fixed. Second thing is time. If you can help people, get more time. And actually, as time has gone on, that's become more of an issue, a problem. Time. It's like we've all figured out that we can make more money, but we can't get more time. Once it's lost, once it's wasted. So people now have a new awareness about wasting time, losing time. If you can help them make better use of all of that, that's going to work. Third thing.
Can I just ask you, are you talking about print media, or are you talking about
I'm talking about life.
any kind of media?
Right now, I'm talking about what your people are going to pay you for.
Right.
In terms of the media, when I come to talk to the media, I'm talking about traditional media.
Right.
Newspapers, magazines,
That-
radio,
that's
television.
the question. That's if I've got a story, I can't make this connection between the journalist and me. If I've got the story, is he going to pay, or she?
No.
Are they going to pay me for the story? How does that
Not
work?
unless you suddenly reveal that you're the love child of Theresa May and
Exactly,
Ronald Reagan or something.
Yeah. So how does that?
Then they'll probably pay you.
So how does this link? You never know. But
Why
how
don't
do
you ask me those questions in a little bit? I'll just run
Yeah,
through this,
okay.
and then I'll make some
Yeah,
time for questions.
I'm trying to get in my mind what it is we sort of where we are, and that's all.
Okay, well, where you are right now is I'm telling you what people are going to pay you for.
Right.
People are going to pay you in our society. It's not my opinion. It's just this is what people pay for. They pay for you to help them make more money, get more time, get a relationship, have better sex, all of that.
So the third is relationship?
Third is relationships. The fourth is health and energy, getting into shape. Huge business. Having more energy. And the fifth thing is children and pets, family.
How to have a family.
How to have a better family.
So there's a lot of synergy with all the stuff
Yeah,
that
that's-
we do.
Well,
That's really good.
That's good news, guys. That's very good news.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How do you attack these in copy, for example? I've seen a lot of people in my field go for the negative side, where they say, aren't you feeling like you're running out of time? Or, you can't work because you're sad, because you're lonely. Is it better to go that way, or to go I
Both.
can help you?
Both. Both.
So it's effective to hit on the pain points?
Both. Oh, God, you've got to hit on the pain points.
So to hit on them in a negative way?
Well, I don't think it's a negative way. You're just addressing people's concerns. Yeah.
Focus on you're running out of time. Do this now or you're running out of time.
Well, I don't think you need to be crude about it, but you just need to have that in mind, people's concerns. You need to understand who you are wanting to reach, who your client is.
It also depends on
Wait.
the audience of the publication.
Yeah.
Package. So you've identified a problem that you're solving, and now you need to have a fresh solution to the problem. Something I see people do all the time is they offer sessions. Does anybody here offer sessions?
Yeah.
I would not do that. People don't want sessions, people want solutions. And the biggest thing I've also seen is people don't offer a grand, complete, shall we say, premium solution. And if you don't offer that, guess what? People can't buy it. And then people like me who do pay for premium services and fast track will go somewhere else. I don't want sessions. I don't want itty bitty solutions. I want a complete solution. And I'm a fast track type of person, so I don't want to drip fed over 6 months. If I can get it in an intenser, shorter way, I'll pay for it. If you don't offer that to people like me, we go away with our need to somewhere else. Is this making sense, guys?
So is that like a short intensive, like an intensive?
Well, I'm going to tell you what my premium service is. My premium service is a 12-month program. It gives you unlimited coaching with me, so you have unlimited access to me. You do 3 retreats with me a year. One of them is in Ibiza, where I live most of the year. You'll get picked up from the airport. You stay in my favorite boutique hotel. You get my team of people treating you, my yoga teacher, my massage person, my everything. So that is my premium service, and that's $50,000 a year. So there's intense parts to it. We kick off with a VIP day where we get a lot figured out, but you're working with me through the whole course of the year. So people also don't necessarily just want quick fixes. So your premium service would give them a big chunk of time at the beginning to get certain things clear, but then you want to offer them the ongoing support as well. Make sense? Okay. Most of the people in your field are probably not doing anything like what I have just said. Is everyone going to buy your VIP service? Of course they're not. I only offer it to 6 people a year. So, package. And then finally, promote. Once you get all of that, then you are ready. Then you are ready to promote. How are we doing on time? I wish I knew.
It's 10:30.
It's 10:30, that's terrific. So listen, I'm getting the feeling that you want to ask a couple of questions before I even go on. So go ahead, Peter.
Can I just take a picture of your...
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to give you an even better picture in a second. You can,
I just...
but go for it.
Yeah, just grab that, that's fine.
Because I'll give you some solutions now.
Yeah.
Okay, here are my solutions. Expert elevator. So I work with people to help you get positioned very quickly as that expert, as authority in your field. Now here is the problem that I see a lot of people have. They think, God bless them, that they've got to wait for 20 years until they feel qualified to position themselves as an expert. That's insane. You haven't got enough time.
20 years.
You're not here long enough, guys. What you have to do is you have to connect to what I call the source of your credibility that is already within you, to get to the source of your confidence. When you have that, you're good to go. When you are coming from a place of credibility, you naturally exude a confidence that other people can feel. And that's when people pay you a lot of money. It's probably the only time people pay you a lot of money. Because people pay for confidence. That is definitely a writer-downer. People pay for confidence. They pay for the feeling of confidence that they get from you. Now that applies to every walk of life. Think about it. If you go into a sports shop, you're going to spend money with the guy who you feel confident with in selling you that bike or those shoes. If you go into a department store, you're going to spend more money with the woman who knows her stuff around the products. You're just going to buy all that stuff because you feel her knowledge. You feel her confidence and conviction, and it's the same with you. So I'm going to help you connect to that source, connect deeper perhaps to that source of your credibility today. It is the foundation for everything. If you haven't got that in place, you're going to struggle because you won't feel like you're the real deal. Is this making sense? So you're going to struggle to convince anybody else. So, perspective. I teach something called the viewfinder, where I pull out of you what it is you already believe, what it is you already feel strongly about. Because people don't have to believe the thing that you say, but they do have to believe that you believe the thing that you say. So you can't make this stuff up. It won't land. It won't work. People will feel that it's not sincere. You have to come out and talk your truth in a short, succinct, powerful way. Then you will divide the room. And some of you may have a problem with that, with losing friends. But that is what a point of view truly is. It's when you divide the room. It's when half the room goes, I love you, you're amazing, that's exactly what I believe, and I'm going to follow you to the ends of the earth, because your vision is their vision. And you are helping them fulfill their vision, but by them following you. I'm going to give you an example of this. I saw this recently. Because a really strong point of view, it should touch you. It should bring forth something, I guess, noble in people. And I saw this recently myself. I had an experience of it. And honestly, it really affected me emotionally, and it called me to a higher place. And it's a long time since I have seen something like that shook me and woke me up. And it's a point of view that some of you will agree with when I speak it, and some of you will sit back and go, no. And that's a point of view. And it's a point of view that when I saw it, it made me go and get my wallet immediately and give them money and set up a standing order. Because I was like, shit, you've just nailed my vision. And I didn't even know I had that vision. So I'm going to support you to help me fulfill my vision. Is this all making sense, guys? Yeah. So it was a charity, an animal charity called PETA. Okay? Now this is really interesting, because PETA have become the biggest animal charity in the world, like bar none, in a very short space of time. They're very, very, very smart in the way they operate. And their point of view is astounding. I can't remember it word for word, but basically you go on their website, the first thing you say is the declaration. We do not believe that animals belong to us, that animals are ours to eat, to hunt, to use for entertainment, or for clothes, or, I mean, it's like, there's no apology there. It's as clear as you can get. Now you're either going to back away from that, or you're either going to move towards it. That is a point of view. This making sense, guys? Okay. So, let's just ignore that, and hopefully it'll go away. That's what I pull out of people when I work with them, nothing less. Now, here's the thing with problem. I'm just going to get rid of this little thing here. Oh, I can't even see it. Okay, here is the thing with a problem. Here's the problem with finding a problem. You could think you're hitting on a problem, but actually it's not a problem for the people that you want to reach. I took on a client recently, and my heart sank when I saw the book that she had just had published, because I had a distinct feeling that that book bore no relation whatsoever to the problems that her ideal clients were experiencing. She's a delightful person. She really wants to make a difference in the world, and her thing is all about balance. If you're in business, you run a business, you have a business of your own, that balance is the key. Guess what? When we went through her ideal client generator, we went through that, balance was not on the list. It was nowhere on the list. It is not a priority. It is not a pressing problem. It just doesn't factor whatsoever. So what she's done is written a whole friggin' book, pardon my French, that she has paid a lot of money, because she self-published it. She spent a lot of time and money bringing out a book, addressing a problem that doesn't actually exist as a problem for her ideal client. So you have to get inside the head, out of your own head, and out of your own themes and fixations. She's fixated. She's a lovely person, and she's fixated on balance. She believes it's what we all really need and should have. And God knows she's probably right, but her ideal clients are not buying.
Should she change the ideal client then?
She could do. Personally, I think she's going to struggle to sell balance to anyone. It's not a pressing problem. So what we're doing is changing how she is presenting her offering, because she does actually want to reach people in business, either people in businesses or people who have their own businesses. The book is not going to go anywhere. It's very sad, but it's true, because it's of no relevance. Her ideal clients will walk on past it. It's sad but true. So, is this making sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay. So when you package your solutions, they've got to be specific. Julia.
Sorry, that's fine.
Okay. We just have to ignore that Mac thing.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered.
Take a picture of that.
Oh, you'll get a picture, don't worry. Absolutely. So the specific solution strategy. Remember what I was saying, people are going to pay you for specific and tangible results. People are spending money on what they can quantify, what they can measure, what they can grasp. That was a huge part in the difference between 1 week people being not remotely interested in the fact that I was back in business, and the next week investing £6,000 to get my help. That I was saying, I can help you with specific things, listing the specific things, and then the overall solution that all of that was going to lead to. And then finally, that will say the press and profit platform underneath that. Go on.
This is good, obviously, what may follow, but you know, you and press,
Yes.
they deliver the acronym in there.
The press and profit platform, is that your
No,
question?
You,
Oh yes, VIEW stands for something.
yes,
It's what I
so they
teach.
are deliberately acronym.
Yeah, definitely,
Sorry,
yeah,
thank you.
absolutely.
I just wanted to-
And I'm modeling that for you as well. Because when you're offering a specific solution strategy, you know where I'm going with this?
Absolutely. Yeah, well, I think so.
You need
Yes.
to make it easy for people to grasp and to remember. So I either use something like specific solution strategy, or I'll use an acronym,
Yeah.
because people can remember it. Quite frankly, I can remember it. It helps me too.
Helpful.
It is, yeah,
Is now
yeah.
to take a picture?
You wait, and then we'll clear that. Wait in the break, we'll clear that malarkey, and it'll be more complete as well. So,
That's the press and
press and profit platform. So, the reason I talk about press and profit is you're in business. You need to make money. You cannot be just going into the press willy-nilly. Because if you do that without paying attention to your business goals and what you want to achieve out of it, you really could just get a bit of a splurge of press and it make no difference whatsoever to your business. And believe me, that is a very disappointing day. So you have to be clear on the business. In fact, you've got to be clear on all of this. You need to be clear on all of that. So that when you do land in the press, you can actually profit from it. Let me give you an example. I had a client, a relationship client, and she had 2 pages in the Daily Express. It's still a pretty good readership. It'll be something like 2 million. And so, I mean, it's nothing like the Mail. But she had, I think she had about 1,600 visits to her website pretty quickly. Now, sometimes people won't listen to me. And what can I do? I tried to explain to her that her opt-in on her website was not compelling enough. Now, you need to be winning people's attention over. And you have to work hard at that. Which means you have to persuade people very quickly to click on things. That your opt-in is really super duper exciting, and that however busy they are and whatever else is going on around them, they've just got to click and get that information. That one secret, that one super duper thing. You've got to make it irresistible. So she had an opt-in that was okay. And I'm sure the material in it was really good, actually. I'm sure it was. It was called 10 Ways to Have a Healthy Relationship. Think about it. Could you live without that? I could. Is that irresistible enough to get you going, shit, I need that information right now? Like, I'm not even going to answer the front door until I've clicked on this in case I miss it? The answer is no. So out of 1,600 people coming on her site that day, 10 clicked. Okay, that's a sad day, because you're going to wait quite some time to get another 2 pages like that in a national newspaper.
what, you know, you said 2 million. What's the circulation in the Mail?
Ah, it's insane. It is insane. 6.6 million. It's insane. So another client of mine had a pretty similar feature in the mail, and she had 3,000 hits straight away, as opposed to 1,600. Again, her opt-in was okay. You know, not all 3,000 clicked on that opt-in and became clients. A smaller percentage did, because not everybody appreciates or is willing to put the work in to doing all of this. Getting people onto your website is only half the battle. Getting them to click so they join your world is the other part. And the way that you persuade them to join your world these days is having an amazing titled opt-in. So I'm going to give you an example of an amazing titled opt-in. I have a client called Caroline Goiter. She is one of the country's leading presentation, stage and presentation coaches. She used to teach at RADA, and she came to me, and now she teaches the public and people in businesses and Channel 4 presenters and all of that. And she has a great book called The Gravitas Method. So when she came to me, she was helping people get better at doing speeches and presentations. And I said to her, listen, you're not standing out. There's tons of people doing that. What is the thing that people get when they work with you? If I come to you and I'm your perfect client and I do everything you tell me to do, what do I get from you? And she thought about it. She said, gravitas. Gravitas. That's what people get. So we put together a specific solution. We put together a program called the Gravitas Method. And within 3 weeks, she had a book deal from Ebury Press. It's a great book, it's out there, called the Gravitas Method. So lots of exciting things can happen when you get all of this lined up. So her opt-in on her new website, we've just agreed on the title. It's fabulous. And it's this. It's the one surprising secret about speaking with confidence. You're going to click on that, aren't you? 2 reasons. Number one, it's only one thing. Even if there's somebody at the front door or your phone's ringing, it's only one thing. You're going to click. And however busy you are that day, it's only one thing. It's not 10. Guys, our attention span is next to nothing. We're so busy. We've got so many calls in our time and energy. And here's the other thing about the title. Exactly. We built in suspense. We built in suspense. The one surprising thing. Now, I've got to admit, I'm not a total genius. That was actually the title of her TED Talk, which has now been viewed by 3.5 million people. But when she told me that was the title of her TED Talk, I was like, shit, that is a great title. That is the title of your opt-in.
And what's the best way to deliver that? Is that like with a cheat sheet, with a video?
Well, with her in particular, it has to be video. Because she's teaching presentation. She's teaching on videos, she's teaching on stage. It has to be.
So video is a credible way to deliver it. It doesn't have to be like a written article.
No. But what I would also do is some people like to have things to read in their hand. So I would always do a little bit of a PDF sheet or a
Cheat sheet.
something, anything like that, yeah, to go along with that. Everybody just take a little breath in, me too, and a little breath out. There you go. So press and profit. So it all is connected. It's all connected. So that you can actually build your business from that exposure. Because it's a great shame to put all the effort in getting the press interested in you and something you do. And actually, that's a heck of an achievement, I'll be honest with you. But it's a huge, huge disappointment if it then doesn't translate into feeding your business. Because people are busy. They read something one day, it's gone the next. There's a new newspaper the next day. So, I'm just thinking what I want to do with you before the break. Okay. Should we talk a little bit more about examples of the press? John, any more questions for me? Just making a little bit more sense for you? You have a specific question? Peter. Peter, John, Andrew, Mark, and...
It's getting closer. It's getting closer.
The truth is, you have to work very hard at being interesting. That's the truth. Now, I can give you shortcuts today, I can show you, I can give you answers to questions, but I am telling you, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it.
Yeah. It's coming clearer. I'm not 100% clear.
What are you not clear on?
Well, as I say, if I've got an article that I've researched and I've done, some intense research, how do I move from my space, my computer, to getting it known? Okay. If I give it to a journalist is going to say, yeah, thanks very much, and they won't give me anything for it. So how do I...
No, you're not going to get paid. Forget about it. Forget about money. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
That's what I'm trying to find. That's what I'm just trying to...
Okay, you're not going to get paid.
Right.
So just forget that.
Okay.
The best that you can get is featured, and then you make a lot of money as a result, if you do all of this.
So this is the part that I'm probably is the hinge part then now. Mm-hmm. So if I came up with super fantastic, surprising articles that engaged...
You're not coming up with articles, you're coming up with ideas.
Okay, ideas.
Wait a minute, let's talk about pitching. What time is it now? 5 to 11. Okay, we're going to have a break in a couple of minutes, but afterwards what I think I'll do is I'll talk about what makes you interesting to a journalist, and we'll talk about pitching and all of that. But do go on.
Yeah,
got a couple of minutes.
So it's...
Why don't you be specific with me? Give me some examples and I can go with you.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I'm really interested in is musical history.
Okay.
And presenting stories.
Okay.
Of particular eras.
Okay.
Over, like the Motown. That's one thing I was talking about earlier on.
Yeah.
At that time, during the 60s, there was lots of things like the Black Power, the Black Panthers,
sure.
Lots of social upheaval going on, which is very relevant to what's going on now, and there's a parody, there's a link. And it interests me, the music side of things, and the history side of things, and the politics. Mm-hmm. All of that interests me. Mm-hmm. I'd like to present that in some kind of documentary, either written or video media.
Okay, so first of all, you've got to get very clear on who you want to reach and what they are reading, watching, or listening to. So let's work backwards in that way.
Okay.
So who's the person that you're wanting to reach?
Well...
and actually, let's go further. What's the result that you want from reaching that person?
Okay. Well, if we took one aspect of it, it's a person that's politically
wait a minute. What's the call to action? What's the action you want them to take from reading your feature?
Well, I want them to read more of my features.
Okay, so what's the business goal? You just want them to keep reading your features?
And every time they read, they buy.
What do you want them to buy?
It's either going to be a pay-by-subscription to read more, or to watch more, or to download.
Okay.
So, they read a short 250-word article about Martin Luther King and some aspect of music, and it starts to interest them, and then they think, I want more of that. So then they click on the button, and it takes them to a videography of the timeline and all that sort of thing. That's my sketched out. It's not set in stone yet, but that's what I'm thinking.
So I would have to look much deeper at that business model with you than we're going to do today to make absolutely sure that that's going to stand up as a business because there is so much content that is available for free.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean...
But I'm just going to assume that you're right with that for the moment and just run with that.
Yeah.
So, are you clear on what publication, let's just talk about print, what publication
Well,
your ideal person?
That's where my hinge point now is. I've got this idea, but how do I get it into the...
No. Listen to my question. You're clear on the action that you want the person to take. I'm asking you, who is the person that you want to reach, and what do they read? You have to know the person you want to reach. You have to know what they're reading. If they're, I'm going to guess what your person is reading.
Okay.
But do you know?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
But
My guess is it's The Guardian.
okay.
My guess is The Guardian. And there's going to be a particular section in The Guardian. I'm not a Guardian reader, and I'm not looking to get to your people, so I can't really tell you. But there's going to be a music section.
Right.
Okay. If you write down this name, Sean O'Hagan,
Okay.
and he writes, I love the media, so I just know this malarkey because it's my hobby horse thing. So I know that Sean O'Hagan is big into what you're talking about. Music, culture, politics, the whole malarkey.
Yeah.
So you need to start looking and studying The Guardian.
Yeah.
Write down the name Cheryl Garrett. Cheryl with an S. Cheryl used to be the editor of The Face. And she's another person who would be interested in that theme. Okay. So then what you've got to do is you've got to put together a great pitch. You're not a writer. They're not going to pay you. They'll use one of their own people.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need to put together what I call a killer pitch.
Yes.
A killer pitch has an amazing subject line that they are compelled to open. And then they open it and they breathe a sigh of relief because it's not a goddamn press release. So a press release is an old school thing that press agencies and PR companies still use. I think probably because they feel they've got to justify they're doing work for their clients. But I promise you, journalists don't want an old-fashioned press release. They want something that's that short. You need to be able to put your idea to them in a short, pithy way.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was at university, one of the things they used to have us do was read a 5,000 word essay and then condense it to 25 words, which was very difficult. And I thought,
Yes.
there's never ever going to be any time in my life I'm ever going to use this, but I think there might be.
I think the time has come.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a legacy skill after dust off, I
Can I
think.
ask a slightly related question?
Yeah, of course.
You know, when you get, like the Express, 2.7
Yes.
6 million,
Yeah.
correlations. So
Yeah.
the Guardian, which has got whatever, but of
Yeah.
that there's a subsection.
Yes.
Is there a sort of correlation between readers and hits and so on that would work through, providing you some audience target specific? Because some like the Mail and
Yeah.
Express presumably will be targeted towards that generic type.
Oh, of course.
Whereas something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Does it change when you get, so if out of 100 readers
Yeah.
of a specific thing like that, you're more likely to get a higher percentage than a general thing?
Oh, God, yeah. You have to be really clear on who you're trying to reach and what they're reading. Your client is not reading the Daily Mail, your person.
Yeah.
They're definitely not reading the Express. They're most definitely not reading the AFT, not even on a Saturday,
Yeah, probably not.
which is the only day worth getting it.
What about the Times?
I'm going to say possibly, but here's the thing. You also have to study the press that you want to get into so that you can do what I've just done and give you specific names of people.
Yeah.
So you've got to really put a little bit of time into this so that you know, oh my God, of course, Sean O'Hagan, he loves this stuff. Cheryl Garrett, oh my God, of course, she used to edit The Face. And she was on a documentary recently talking about this very thing. So you need to make a study of it.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, so that when you make an approach to a journalist, you're not being an idiot. You're actually being respectful to them, and you're being personal. Certain things that journalists hate. Number one, they hate people getting their name wrong. I mean, they really hate that. They hate spelling mistakes because they're word people, they're wordsmiths. If you have a spelling mistake in the first line, you have just blown your credibility and you've got to work really hard in the next line to keep their attention. They really hate it if it's just some general thing that's going out to everyone. They really do love it if you put something personal in there. They really love it if you compliment them. They do, because they don't get any acknowledgement very much from anywhere. So if you've made it your business to look at something that Sean O'Hagan wrote recently, you're going to say, Sean, I absolutely love that, and you better be honest about it. I absolutely loved that feature that you wrote last week about the undertones and you too. What can I say? I couldn't have said it better myself, or something like that. They're gonna warm to you. Also, you can connect with them on Twitter. They're all on Twitter. So it would be really good if your first approach to those people was not that you wanted something from them. They get that all the time, every day, every hour. It would be really neat if you started to look for these people, these journalists, and connect with them on Twitter and say something to them like, that was great. I totally agree with you, what you said today. You're building a relationship.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Don't try and be their friends. Don't try and be their friends. They're too busy.
I just wanted to make a point, because I was a professional journalist for years, and
Yeah.
if somebody sent things, they were always, I was in business journalism, I was
Yeah.
also on TV doing investigative reporting, and people would get to me,
Yeah.
and if they tried to compliment me on something,
Yeah.
because we're all cynical,
Yes.
I wrote it off. Just,
Yes.
And maybe that's changed, but if you came to me with a pitch and said, oh, I loved it,
Mm. Yeah.
you're trying, I would think you're trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what would be the way around it?
Well, here's the thing, don't try and sell something. That's what I'm saying, build a relationship. You also do need to be genuine about it.
I know, but my mind would,
Yeah.
every journalist I know that
Yeah.
I worked with would go
Yeah.
to that, because you're right, you don't want to sell it because that'll be written off as.
Yes.
But if you're connecting on Twitter and it's becoming, it's established and it's genuine,
Yeah.
eventually
Yeah.
you will establish a kind of relationship. Of what you're
Yeah,
saying.
of course.
That when you do pitch
Mhm.
and you've complimented, it's taken as genuine because you've already established that kind
Yeah.
of relationship.
Yes.
That's different, yeah, that's
Yeah.
opposed to someone just sending an
And
email.
that's what's the beauty of the technology today, is that you
Yeah.
can do that quite
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
Which is very simple.
Absolutely.
Might also depend on the subject matter. And I know we're saying about journalists being to the public, might also be a little bit dependent, because if they're really into something like that music and
Yeah.
politics and
As long as
so
it's different, it's new, it gives them the who, what, where, why, when, how, right
Yeah.
away, then,
on. Yeah.
anyway, that's just my
That's
view.
not-
So.
Well, I've got to tell you, I was absolutely gobsmacked. I got in touch with a journalist recently. She did, she's not a friend, she's just somebody I know from just doing this stuff. And she did a great feature on the menopause and what she'd, come up with to try and all that stuff. And she had really done her homework. It was a huge feature. And I just sent her an email saying, listen, Louise, well done, what a great feature. And I know that person that you went to, and I think they're really great too. And she came back like instantly and went, oh my God, you really think it was a good piece? I couldn't believe it. Who am I? I said it was a fabulous piece. And I'm sure you're going to get tons of comments on the Mail Online. And it really made me think, my God, especially freelance journalists. They're working from home, somewhere out there in the sticks. They're not in an office. They have no colleagues around them. They have no boss walking in from an office saying, well done on that article. Did you see the number of hits and comments that we've got online because of it? They're working in a vacuum. And we all need some flipping recognition and acknowledgement that we're on the right track, that we're doing a pretty decent job, don't we? So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's just British journalists, but by God, they love their freebies as well. I'm not saying send them flowers and biscuits, but if there is something that is related to what you do, I've got to tell you from experience, send something to them.
So sending a book?
If it's related, as long as it's not random and has no relation to the thing you're doing. I mean, Karen, my friend on Prima, the other thing is they don't get paid an awful lot of money. So they do tend to love things. So Karen, during the heat wave last summer, she got sent this ice cream maker. I said, ice cream maker? She said, yeah. I said, who from? Sensodyne, in the name of God. Sensodyne make toothpaste for sensitive teeth, which means you can then eat ice cream to your heart's content without any pain. I said, my God, Karen, that's a long shot, girl. I mean, how do you feel about that? Thrilled, delighted, couldn't wait to get it home and start making ice cream. So I said, let me ask you a question. I mean, that's just out and out bribery.
Technically, it's not.
So they-
Bribery
they
is
are
an
involved.
inducement to commit an illegal act. It's an incentive.
All right, darling, okay.
That's right. It's a personal thing.
All right, okay, all right, okay, you're right. I said, listen, how's that affect you? I mean, are you going to write about Sensodyne because of the ice cream maker? And she said, well, I thought about it myself, to be honest. And here's the real truth. I'm not going to write a feature specially now about sensitive teeth and how great Sensodyne is. Now, I'm not going to do that. But here's what I do know. I know that the next time I do a feature on teeth, I'm going to include them. I'm going to call that PR. I just know that. Do you know what I mean? We're all human. But make it relevant. But I think we better take a little break there. I think that's our cue, our opportunity for a break. And I'm just going to make that more perfect for those that want to take a picture of it.